Chapter 12. Sweat rolled down the back of Sierra's neck and stained the armpits of her gray t-shirt. Juan's band careened into another chorus on her headphones. Cuando la luna llena, crooned Culebra's lead singer Pulpo. His voice wrapped a perfect velvet strand around Sierra. The music roared to a new height of thrashing, static-laced madness, and then got suddenly extra chill as the syncopated bass tumbao trundled out, followed by the clack-clack of the clave, and then the swinging horns and warbling keyboards. The song came crashing to an end, and Sierra took the headphones off her ears. She climbed down the scaffolding, stepped back from the wall, and grunted with satisfaction. The dragon was almost done. Its wings stretched magnificently over the junk lot, a ferocious middle finger to the seriousness of the tower. Sierra had given it Manny's smile and mischievous squinting eyes, and added whiskers in more or less the shape of Manny's big mustache. She chuckled to herself. Robbie must have come back late at night to work on his side. The skeleton woman had a guitar now, and colorful swirls poured from its strings, forming the beginning stages of a bustling city. Sierra could see how the whole wall would look when it was finished, and it was going to be spectacular. Manny walked up next to Sierra and put a Malta in her hands. "That's a strikingly handsome dragon." Sierra laughed. "Thank you, sir. I did my best." "Robbie's stuff is nice, too." "I aspire to be like him. Everything he draws blows me away." "Oh, you've got your own style, Sierra. Trust me. You're doing amazing things." Sierra kicked the ground and shrugged. "Thanks, Manny." They stood staring at the wall in silence. Then she said, "You know this guy, Raconteur?" Manny shot her a stern look. "Sierra." "I know you don't like to talk about stuff from the old days or whatever, but look, this is important. I'm not sure what's going on, but I think we all might be in danger. The night old Vernon disappeared, Sierra. She'd never heard Manny sound so grave. "A lot of things happened in the last couple of years with your grandfather and the Shadowshapers. I don't know most of it. I stayed on the sidelines mostly. But there's a lot of bad blood around that. Folks don't like to bring it up, you know? A lot of friendships ended, even families torn apart." Manny looked back at the painting. "Raconteur was a Shadowshaper?" He nodded. "Do you know how to reach him if he's still alive? Anything?" "I am a newspaper man, Sierra. I understand curiosity, believe me. But this, for your own good, this is something you need to stay out of. Stay far away from it, okay?" "Manny, this is my family. You can't ask me to." The Domino King shook his head and walked away without another word. The second she walked into her house, Sierra was greeted by the heavy, mouth-watering smell of arroz con pollo and plátano simmering on the stovetop. It never failed. Even today, with paintings crying and strangers lurking, the scent of her mom's chicken and rice eased her mind away from all that trouble, at least for a few seconds. It wrapped her up in a fragrant cloud that seemed to carry her into the kitchen, disentangling her cares and worries on the way. "Sierra, mija," her mom said without looking up from the stove. "Your father's leaving for the night shift in half an hour and your abuelo's acting up. I have to finish cooking and I have about 15,500 things to do by tomorrow. Can you please, por favor, mija querida, take care of Lazaro's room and whatever it is he keeps yelling about up there? He's scaring Terry." "You mean Timothy?" "Look, I'm not in the mood, okay? Too much going on right now. Squeeze this garlic into the mojo before you go, please. Gracias." She handed Sierra a little flowering bulb of garlic, its crackling paper skin fluttering like broken wings onto the kitchen floor. Sierra found the press, stripped 2 little cloves, and placed them in the metal chamber. The stinging smell of garlic surrounded her, stuck fast to her fingers and nostrils. "Mommy." Sierra used the knife to pry the last strands out of the tiny holes in the press. "Can we please talk about Abuelo and the Shadowshapers now?" Her hands shone with the pungent juice and slipped around as she worked the tip of the blade back and forth. I just want to know what's going on. Maria Santiago turned slowly around and glared at Sierra. She almost always flitted back and forth like an anxious hummingbird. Now, she stood perfectly still, a little fire glinting in her dark eyes. Just finish squeezing the ajo for me and go see what your abuelo wants, please. The front door swung open and Sierra's tia Rosa came swooshing in as if pushed by a heavy gust of wind. Buenas noches, familia! She called from inside a thick cloud of perfume. She doled out sloppy cheek kisses to Sierra and Maria and then settled into a chair at the table. The smells of garlic, well-seasoned chicken, and Rosa's ridiculous lady scent clashed in the steamy air. Hi, tia, Sierra said. I was just about to go clean up Abuelo's apartment. Her mom shot her a look. Mi niña, tia Rosa snickered in a mock whisper. I hear you have a little boyfriend. Sierra felt her whole face turn bright red. Who? Ay, Sierra, Maria chided. The boy you were talking to outside the house yesterday. Who, Robbie? Nah, we're just cool is all. He's helping me with the mural. Rosa lit up. Robbie, you say? Oh, what's he look like? Where's he from? Sierra's whole body ached to run out the door. He's, Haitian. For a second, she wasn't sure why she was tensing up. Then she saw her aunt's exaggerated scowl. Oh, Sierra, mija. What are we gonna do with you? Is he, you know? What? Sierra said. Maria, Rosa said, turning in her chair toward the stove. What did Tia Virginia used to say? Maria shrugged and shook her head. If he's darker than the bottom of your foot, he's no good for you. Rosa let out a shriek of laughter. Maria looked horrified. Rosa, is he darker than the bottom of your foot, Sierra? Tia, really, what's wrong with you? Rosa rolled her eyes. See, Maria, this is what happens. You let her keep her hair all wild and nappy like this. Sierra's arms twitched with the impulse to swing out at her aunt's makeup-saturated face, but she resisted. Rosa, stop it, Maria said. You let her wear whatever she wants, Rosa. All I'm saying is, this is what you get. Sierra stormed out of the room. In her mostly dark bedroom, Sierra stood in front of the mirror and frowned. She'd been listening to Tia Rosa's offhand bigotry her whole life, and mostly learned to just tune it out. Her mom would always chide Rosa lightly, and then the conversation would turn to something else. But the words crept in, made a home in Sierra's mind, no matter how much she fought them off. Her wild, nappy hair. She ran her hands through her fro. She loved it the way it was, free and undaunted. She imagined it as a force field deflecting all Rosa's stupid comments. Still, the mirror had never been a comfortable place for Sierra. It wasn't that she thought she was ugly or anything, but it was never the glance and grin that it was supposed to be. Instead, some patch of dry skin on her face would jump out at her, or a shirt that fit perfectly before suddenly seemed a little too tight, or a bra strap would peek out from a wide collar. And now she needed to get dressed for her date with Robbie, and she really wasn't in the mood. He had completely shattered her whole boys are cute until they open their mouths thing. Not only was he not stupid, he looked at her like she made sense. Like they shared some secret language that no one else knew, and that they spoke it even when they weren't speaking at all. Go casual, she said to herself. Nothing special, casual, with a touch of cute. She chose a skirt and a tube top with a loose white blouse over it. But it was hard work making suggestions and not blatant declarations with her ever-changing Puerto Rican body. Some days her butt was too big. On others she couldn't even find it. Was it the way her pants hung? What she ate last night? Her mood? Her period? She sighed and glanced sideways at herself. Her butt seemed to be cooperating. It made just enough of a bump beneath her skirt to make itself known without being all extra. All right, then. She laced up her tall combat boots and squinted at herself again. Her hair exploded around her face with its usual reckless abandon. Benny had insisted on Sierra coming by later so she could braid it. Her skin was another matter. It wasn't bad skin, a zit here and there and the occasional dry island. But once when she was chatting with some stupid boy online, she described herself as the color of coffee with not enough milk. There was a pause in the conversation, and the words glared back at her strangely, like the echo of a burp in an empty auditorium. She wondered if what she typed was burning holes in her chat partner, too. Then he typed, "Oh, that's hot, yo," and she quickly slammed her laptop shut. In the sudden darkness of her bedroom, the words had lingered as if imprinted in her forehead. Not enough. The worst part about it, the part she couldn't let go of, was that the thought came from her. Not from one of the teachers or guidance counselors whose eyes said it again and again over sticky, sweet smiles. Not from some cop on Marcy Avenue or Tia Rosa. It came from somewhere deep inside her. And that meant that for all the time she'd shrugged off one of those slurs, some little tentacle of them still crawled its way toward her heart. Not enough milk. Not light enough. Morena. Negra. No matter what she did, that little voice came creeping back, persistent and unsatisfied. Not enough. Today she looked menacingly into the mirror and said, "I'm Sierra Maria Santiago. I am what I am. Enough." She sighed. These days were spooky enough without her talking to herself. More than enough. She almost believed it. Downstairs, Maria and Rosa cackled at some inside joke. Sierra scowled, grabbed her shoulder bag, and walked out of her room.